There are women in this world who move differently. It's not physically, but energetically. You feel it the moment they enter a room. A quiet depth, a subtle gravity. Sense that this person carries something ancient, something that didn't begin in this lifetime. And some women seem to access this effortlessly. Here's the twist. Most of these women don't realize they're different. But if you watch until the end, you might finally understand why you've always felt the way you do. Because these 12 signs, they don't just describe an old soul. They describe you, the version of you that you've never been able to explain. But before we begin, there's something you need to know. Old souls aren't born with wisdom. They're often born with wounds. And those wounds become portals to understanding. Now, let's open the first door. You wake up with a question burning inside your chest. Why am I here? This isn't just overthinking. It's a biological hunger, a spiritual need for oxygen. You simply cannot live on shallow meaning. Jung called this the beginning of individuation, the soul's deep desire to become whole. You've felt it since you were a child. It's that nagging sense that life must be more than what everyone pretends it is. And here's the strange part. This hunger doesn't make your life easier. It often makes your life feel emptier, especially when you're surrounded by people who just don't feel the same way. But the next sign will explain why you've always felt out of place. You feel homesick for places you've never been. Old soul women often experience a mysterious kind of nostalgia. A city you've never visited feels weirdly familiar. A culture you've never learned about calls your name. Ancient ruins might make your chest tighten, like you're remembering something instead of just discovering it for the first time. Jung called this archetypal memory. These aren't personal memories, but human memories. You might feel a strange connection to Celtic landscapes, Japanese traditions, ancient temples, desert silence, or indigenous wisdom. Others might think it's just an aesthetic preference, but you know it's something much deeper. It feels like a whisper from somewhere far away, saying, "You've been here before." What comes next is even more unusual and almost impossible to fake. Your compassion isn't learned, it's instinctual. But that compassion comes with a price. When someone cries, you don't just feel for them, you feel with them. This isn't just empathy, it's immersion. You absorb the emotional frequency of a room like a tuning fork. You become calm in situations where others collapse, but this calmness has a secret origin. Chaos breaks other people. For you, it awakens something. You turn into an anchor, steady, grounded, and unshakable. It's not because you're cold, and it's not because you're trying to be strong. It's because something deep inside you knows this too shall pass. Jung called this the transcendent function. The ability to hold opposing forces without breaking. But it also isolates you because people often assume you don't need help. Wait for the next sign though, because it's the reason you often feel ahead of others. You see patterns before the world sees them. And this gift is the main reason you struggle with belonging. Old soul women sense cultural, emotional, and relational shifts long before they happen. You notice red flags early. You can sense a breakup coming before any words are spoken. You might even feel global or social changes before the news reports mention them. Jung believed some individuals tap into the collective unconscious sooner. They feel the ripples before they become waves. But this gift can be isolating. Explaining something before people are ready to hear it rarely ends well. And that leads directly to the next sign. You need solitude the way others need air. But solitude isn't what people think it is for you. People assume you're avoiding society, but actually, you're returning home. Silence isn't empty for you. It's nourishing. It's where your insights reorganize themselves. It's where your intuition becomes loud and clear. Jung said, solitude is essential for individuation because the soul cannot grow in constant noise. And you are born with a mind that needs silence like it needs oxygen. The next sign explains why you've never really cared for material success. Material things feel heavy to you. You don't attach much meaning to status, wealth, luxury, or social comparison. It's not because you reject them, but because they just don't feel real. You're not impressed by objects. You're impressed by depth, by conversations, insights, experiences, and authenticity. You have a deep sense that everything physical is temporary, and only personal growth truly lasts. Next comes one of the rarest traits of all, and this one is almost impossible to fake. Both groups recognize something in you. You are safe. Kids talk to you easily, not because you act childish, but because you genuinely respect them. Elders trust you, not because you flatter them, but because they see a certain wisdom in your eyes. This is an archetypal phenomenon. Old souls seem to stand somewhere between beginnings and endings. The next sign reveals your spiritual nature. You have a natural pull toward the spiritual, not the religious. But your spirituality is unlike anything mainstream. You're not attracted to dogma or rigid belief systems or strict rules. Your spirituality comes from your intuition, from feeling what is true, not being told what is true. You might resonate with ideas from Buddhism, mysticism, ancient symbolism, energy, psychology, meditation, or shadow work. But your eyes tell the whole story. They look older than your age, okay? This is the sign Jung considered one of the strongest indicators. People might have told you, you have wise eyes, or you see too much, or you look like you've lived more than one life, and they're right. Your eyes reveal emotional depth, experiences turned into wisdom, shadows that have been integrated, and illusions that have been burned away. Jung believed the eyes showed the self, the timeless part of our consciousness. Next is the sign that defines everything else. Your intuition works like a radar, but this intuition comes with a hidden cost. You just sense things. You know who's lying, who's dangerous, who's hurting inside, what might happen next, and what isn't being said. But here's the cost. Every single time you ignore your intuition, you end up regretting it. And the final sign explains why you read people so easily. You see people's true nature almost instantly, okay? And this final sign reveals why your relationships feel so different from others. People wear masks, but they don't seem to work with you. You see their wounds, their intentions, their fears, their shadows, and their potential. Old soul women see the person behind the persona. This is why superficial friendships drain you and real connections feel so rare. This is why you feel older than your age.